Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain AccuWeather, coming to you by way of the Captain AccuWeather Command Center. Happy that you're here on a Thursday. We're almost to the weekend. It's a holiday weekend, and now the question is, what's it going to be like? Today's going to be the hottest day of the month. And I know what some of you are thinking. Wasn't yesterday very hot? It was. It was 96 degrees yesterday at McGee-Tyson Airport, as well as Oak Ridge. Mid-90s were common virtually everywhere in East Tennessee, and it's only going to get hotter by about 2 more degrees. I think we got a good shot of going to 98 today. The record is 102, set back in 1948. So we're not necessarily in record high territory, but it's still hot. All right, the 98 would actually tie the hottest day of the year, which we had back on the 14th of July. But I get ahead of myself. Visibility may be down in some spots in gray. I'm looking at Granger County. I'm looking at Hawkins County, Claiborne County, Hancock County, even Union County might have a little bit of fog. We have a light wind situation, no winds at all, so it's conducive for some fog to form. Not everywhere, but could be what you were greeted with this morning. And we've got 70 degrees. It is sticky. I was expecting a low around 70, and that's where we are in both Anderson County, Oak Ridge, as well as McGee-Tyson at the 6 o'clock hour. 6:41 right now. It is 66 in Crossville, 68 degrees in Maryville, Alcoa. If you've got a comment, you got a message, you have a weather report, love to see it here, love to see and hear from you. Carrie's on here. She says, good morning. Hope everyone has a fantabulous day. She's excited about the day. Question is, are you going to stay hydrated? That's a good question. I think all of us need to stay hydrated today, and make sure your pets are checked on too, because maybe your pets need extra water in this type of environment. By the way, good morning. It's 70 in Maryville from where Fred is in Maryville. He says we need some rain, and we'll be getting or into that conversation here in just a mere moment or two, but some rain will arrive late this week. Karen Robbins, one of my premium members, says good morning. She's got 68 in the Crossville area, bracing for the heat and praying for some rain. I think a lot of us are in that camp. A lot of us would like some rain, and we're going to get some relief, but it's not necessarily going to come today. If we get rain today, it's going to be, I think, 20%. It's going to come late in the afternoon, and it's going to be geographically specific for the Smokies. So if you're in the Smokies, you travel through the Smokies, and suddenly a rain shower appears, don't be surprised. But for the valley, don't expect it. I don't expect much at all in the valley at all. Most of it's going to be well to the east of Newport and perhaps even east of Sevierville and Gatlinburg. We'll keep an eye on that. The Smokies may find a few isolated showers. By the way, it's 6:42. Our temperature right now in Jacksboro, Campbell County, 64, and it's 66 degrees in Middlesboro and Madisonville. Dew points are climbing a little slowly but surely. They've been the slowest to climb all week. We had dew points in the upper 50s, if you might recall, earlier this week in the plateau, and now it's in the mid-60s. 63 Crossville, 66 Knoxville. So it is getting progressively more humid across the board. There's no getting around that. As far as the clouds, not a whole lot to show. Most of them are down toward Mississippi. Looks like Tupelo might have a shower that's approaching them from the west. But outside of that, it is slim pickings as far as what to see on the cloud imagery here this early in the morning on the 29th of August. Nothing to see here. We expect hazy sunshine, but here are my numbers. This is what I expect to find this afternoon. 98. Now, some of you may only get to 97 or 96. I'm looking at Teleco plates, 96. I've got us at 99, however, for Athens, and may find with very light if variable winds all day, 94 for Middlesboro, and 94 for Crossville. Crossville hit 94 yesterday. Our friends in Nashville hit 101. So there has been and will continue to be heat to be found all across the state. UV index is still high. It's close to 9 today. Burn time, about 15 minutes. So make sure you have some sunscreen, maybe a hat. Oh, I don't want to wear a hat. Well, you got to protect your skin, right? Nobody wants to age prematurely. Oh, you got me there. I don't want to age premature. Yeah, make sure sunscreen is part of your regimen in this type of pattern. Allergies are off the chart. Ragweed is the main culprit. It's no surprise. It is ragweed season. It's hurricane season. All that kind of converges on Labor Day weekend. Ragweed usually reaches its fever pitch around the Labor Day weekend, and it's certainly going to be with us until we get that first frost, which typically doesn't occur till the 3rd week in October. So you got a long way to go for it to totally disappear, but it might be at worst now between now and tomorrow for sure. Until the rain gets in here, that might help temporarily. Allergy seasons, you can see on the screen, goes from trees to grass to weeds. We saw it explode and typically do in March with the tree pollen. Then grass is usually at its worst between May 15th, June 15th. and then the ragweed really coming on strong now, and that's where we're going to be heading into the holiday weekend. If you're concerned about smoke, I like to show this because, yeah, we have wildfires either nearby or far away. What was it? Was it Grover from Sesame Street? Near and far? Yeah, we got wildfire smoke, and if you just want to Google a current wildfire map, you'll be surprised where they are. And there's so many of them. It's not like, could you pinpoint one fire that's causing this? No, I can't, because it's everywhere, and you can see from the trend. It's like a lather, rinse, and repeat situation. It's just circulating in a clockwise fashion. So all this smoke, as faint as it may keep the skies from looking cobalt blue, and instead it might just look hazy, summery hazy. It's a little bit of faintness. The gray is the lowest color on the legend at the top right. It's light smoke, but there is some that might be in the air for some who might be ultra sensitive. Keep in mind we've got a high UV index. We've got obviously maybe some ground level ozone. We've got all sorts of issues. Ragweed, so you've got some issues to watch for the day today. The Ultimate Doppler radar not showing anything other than some ground clutter. The Ultimate Doppler radar presented by your local Marco's Pizza. And if you're looking for a great lunch idea, may I suggest Marcos.com. They do deliver. Did you say delivery? Yeah, they do that. It's great. You can have them delivered to your doorstep. Love it. Hardin Valley, Farragut, and Maryville. Maybe you're in the Fountain City area or the Halls delivery area. Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, Ebenezer Road. They do give back quite a bit to No Kid Hungry. They are corporate sponsors to No Kid Hungry. But maybe you're hungry for a magnificent pizza. May I suggest the Pepperoni Magnifico for less than $10. And if you're looking for a lunch idea, try the Pozzoli. I love it. It's less than $6. My favorite's pictured on the top there. It's the pepperoni and sausage. Yum, yum. Love the pepperoni and sausage Pozzoli from Marco's. So check them out today. By the way, more heat concerns in parts of Alabama and Mississippi. Now, I know what some of you are saying. You mean we're not colored orange, so we're not going to be hot? No, that's ridiculous. It's just that our dew points aren't off the chart. They're not like 70 plus, so hence we don't reach the criteria. Well, it's all about criteria with the National Weather Service. You reach a certain threshold, they issue an advisory. You reach a certain threshold, they issue a warning or an advisory, whatever. But in this case, it's not the problem that we're too concerned about. I want to bring you up to speed. I mentioned it yesterday, 96, hottest day of the year. No, hottest day of the month. Correction, 96, hottest day of the month of August so far. I think we eclipse that today by 2 more degrees. We'll go to 98 today. Normal high and low, 87, 66, the record high 102, 1948, and we fell as low as 53 on this date in 1986 and in 1968. So if you like context, I'm here for you to give that to you, and love to be able to check in with your comments. As you can see on the screen, there's just not a whole lot to see on this image. I got some YouTube comments. Melissa Mumpower. She says, I'm curious myself, Wanda, when's it going to cool off for fall season? Great question. That's one of the benefits of being a premium member. You could join us on premium by hitting subscribe button. My premium members have a good sense if they read my posts. They have a great sense of what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks and what's going to happen over the next 30 days. We do that every day with a What's the Next Big Thing post, so check it out. But there will be some relief coming. I can tell you that, Melissa. It won't be too long. Morning, David, says Wanda. She says, I hope it starts cooling off. She's excited about maybe cooler weather. I do know she is on Team Snow, and there are some indications that winter will come here in a matter of months, right? It usually does. Usually it starts to arrive, meteorologically speaking, December, January, and February. Meteorological winter, as we like to call it. Because in weather, we like to describe seasons in 3-month blocks, right? Because meteorological fall starts on Sunday, September 1st, and they've got all of September, October, November. So those are your fall months. We know astronomically it won't start until usually the 3rd week in September, but I digress. More rain and pop-up showers in Minnesota and the Dakotas. That's what we're seeing to the north. Not a whole lot going on in Texas at this time, but there are more pop-up thunderstorms in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's the big picture. Wanted to give you a perspective. It is 6:49. My goal was to be done at the top of the hour. We have had an above-average month for August. Now, some of you might think that's hogwash. I'm so dry. Have you seen my lawn? Have you seen it? Yeah, I've seen it because I've got one too. 3.85 would exceed the monthly average. In fact, we're running 5.5. Count them. 5.5 inches above normal for the year, and you have the month of May to thank for that. You can't get 8.5 inches of rain in May very often and not be noteworthy, right? 8.5 inches, that was the fourth wettest May since records have been kept going back to 1871 when Ulysses S. Grant was president. The $50 bill guy. That's how much rain we got in May. So you throw in the averages, we've already exceeded the monthly average for August, which is 3.63, and we'll get a little bit more on Friday and Saturday, I suspect. What about the projections? Let's go ahead and look at that. By 5 o'clock today, not a whole lot, maybe in the Smokies. By tomorrow morning, this would suggest, if timing were to pan out, we'd start to see it populate like so by 7 o'clock Friday. I have only a 40% chance, of some rain falling on Friday. But once we move into Saturday, I've upped it to 60%. The game, of course, starts at 12:45. Wasn't that appropriate that I would stop the clock at 12:45? That's when the game is. I know that's when the game is. But this may be a cumulative amount of rain that may have fallen. If it doesn't rain before the game, maybe it rains for the second half. I think the longer this game goes on in the afternoon, the better chance of rain affecting the game. We'll have to wait and see. But even still, it really starts to populate Saturday night into Sunday. As you can see, it's maybe feast or famine. Some might get a 1/4 inch. I'm looking at Morristown. Some might get a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/3 of an inch around Knoxville or Maryville. But by the time you hit, say, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, many of us either picked up an inch, like Oneida, maybe 1.5 inches for Sevierville. It's not going to be consistent because it's a summer pattern. And in summer patterns, it could be raining on one side of the street and be sunny on the other side of the street. You know how this goes. It's just the way the cards get shuffled. Sunrise and sunset today on your screen. It's 6:52. Sun comes up at 7:06 and goes to bed now at 8:07. Before long, perhaps this time next week, we might be saying the sun goes down before 8. That's no fun. I don't have control over it. But I can tell you that historically, we've been hotter. And we've had shorter days. We get shorter days in the fall and this winter. Hence, that's part of the season changes that come with the territory. August highs, I mentioned yesterday, 96 was by far and away the hottest day of the month so far. So if you're predicting 98 today, that will eclipse yesterday. Exactly. That's my whole point. My whole point is even though we had 6 days in a row that were blue, 6 days last week below average with the culmination of 78, that was the high of last Tuesday, the 20th. It was cool. I mean, normal high that time of year is about 88. So we were well below average for 6 days in a row. So you can say it's this, it's that, it's back, it's forth. Yeah, that's where we're going to be, back into the heat. And as far as the 90-degree days, we typically see 10 in August and 4 in September. Maybe, hint, hint, maybe we have a hard time. Maybe we have a hard time getting to 4 days in September. Because certainly we didn't have any 90-degree days in May. But we had a bumper crop in June. We had twice the normal. We had 14 days in June. That's twice because average is 7. And in July, which is usually the most populated month of 90s, is 12. We had 15. So it goes back and forth, but so far we're up to 41. And I think because we'll get one today, tomorrow, and Saturday, that will bring us to 44 days. If you're keeping score, 41 happens to match if summer were to end today, but it's not. If it suddenly matches 2022 and 2021. So, I mean, is that alarm worthy? No, not by any stretch. You got to look at the big picture, my friend. We've had as many as 78 back in 1936. We had 77 the year I moved here, 2010. But we can have very few when it rains a lot, like in 2013. We had only 11. And we've had as little as 4 back in the 1880s, according to the records from the Weather Service. And we had only 7 during the World's Fair in 1982. You remember the World's Fair? You've been to the Sun Sphere. You know what I'm talking about. That year was really cool because the hottest day we had was 92, and we only did that one time. We had only 1 week, 7 days. That was it. 7 days of 90 in 1982. But we've had 77, 78, as recently as, 1936 and 2010. Tracking the humidity, you can see it comes back. Look how the green fills in on the screen at noon, and it might retreat a little bit by 5, but if you're really concerned about humidity, you might want to just stay inside for a little while because it's going to stay on the high side into Friday and Saturday when the rain starts to populate, starts to come into the picture, and that green ooze covers all of the volunteer state. It's just part of the territory. I've got showers and storms again on Sunday. About a 60% chance there as well. Here's your bus stop forecast. No real concerns. Maybe some fog in some parts of the northern part of our viewing area. We highlighted in gray at the top of this live stream. But 81 for a 10 o'clock projected recess. Maybe teachers say, you know, it's going to be warm. We're going to stay inside. That's fine. But it's only 81 around 10 a.m. By 2 o'clock to 3:30, you're going to be in the mid-90s, about 94. And as I mentioned, 95 would put us, 98. 98 would put us 2 degrees higher than we were yesterday, and I left some spotty storms potentially there in the Smokies late this afternoon. And when I'm talking like 3 to 6, 3 to 6 p.m. might be the window of opportunity where something could form in the Smokies this afternoon. Keep in mind if you're traveling. By the way, a high of 96, Hamilton County, Morristown, 98 for Newport, Dandridge, Jefferson City, about 97 degrees, 98 in Wartburg, and looking for a high in Athens at 99. By the way, there is some development that the Hurricane Center has a watchful eye on. It hasn't moved. It's still a 20% chance. So what you're saying is there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance that Francine is in its early stages of forming. Doesn't mean she's going to get that name. We do usually see things ramp up. Things have slowed down in this regard. The expectation was that the La Nina would have been much stronger by this time of the calendar, and that has not been the case. So conversely, there has not been as many named storms. We've had some storms. Obviously, we started with Alberto, Burl, Chris, Debbie, and Ernesto, but it's been pretty quiet since then, and Francine Gordon would be the next 2 names on this available list. Right now we have 70 degrees at the airport. Dew point is 66. Relative humidity is at 87%. Here are the temperatures around the region, and you can see 70 degrees is the temperature, 71 in Knoxville, 64 in Johnson City. If you're on the call, I want to say good morning to my friend Darcy. She says, happy Thursday, y'all. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and it's too hot for sure. She's not a fan when it's 98. Maybe 96 would be okay, but 98, that's for the birds, some of you might think. Maybe that's how you feel. Love to know what you think. Dew points, mid-60s, but it's worse where you see 70s, like they're populating in Charlotte. Columbia, South Carolina has a 74-degree dew point right now, so they're more swampy right now in parts of South Carolina. Feels like temperature may not be much different than where we are right now. Feels like, what, 60? Temperatures are going to be obviously feeling a lot hotter. We'll feel like it's closer to the century mark this afternoon. Valley Planner, how warm are we at 12 noon today? Should be around 89. 89 is hot. It'll be a hazy, humid day and gradually getting hotter. I think by the time we hit about 4 or 5 o'clock, everyone's going to be checking their thermometer. Hopefully, you'll be checking the Captain Accurate Weather app. So, yeah, man, we made it to 97, or we made it to 98, or we made it to fill in the blank. Wherever you think you're going to be at 4 or 5 o'clock, that should be the time where we reach the maximum temperature for this date. Precipitation chances. Chances of rain are left 20% for the Smokies. Hence the 2, 3, 4 words there are letters. MTNS. Mountains, 20%. 40% tomorrow, 60% both Saturday and Sunday. That's the way I see things shaping up. By the way, it is now 6:58. My goal is to be done here in about 2 minutes. I think I can do it. Hottest day of the month, that's today. That would tie the hottest day of the year because we did hit 98 back on the 14th of July. Spotty afternoon storms today, I think 3 to 6 p.m. should cover it for the Smokies. And then we got more showers and storms increasing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Storm Prediction Center highlighting some yellow areas today, not local, but up toward Minneapolis, St. Paul. We zoom up to the top, you can see they might get some scattered severe storms around Rochester, Minnesota, or Waterloo. Isolated severe storms extended all the way down into Kansas. And our friends to the east, Roanoke, Richmond, Virginia, even Washington, D.C., Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, might have some isolated severe storms today. I don't think this whole area needs to be green, but I think it's primarily in the Smokies where we might get some storms later today. Isolated severe storms for Chicago, Kalamazoo on Friday. Cleveland, Ohio could be included, as well as Indianapolis, St. Louis for Friday. Anyone's fair game for a shower or thunderstorm, I think, tomorrow with a 40% chance. And then on to Saturday, big game day. Worst weather should be around Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia, and Scranton, Pennsylvania. Even D.C. might be affected with isolated severe storms the way things are trending right now. Futurecast, let's jump to it. Where's the big bubble of no trouble? That's the high pressure dome. It looks like it's kind of retreated a bit, and that's why 5 o'clock, look where the rain is. It's like over the Smokies, just like you said. Yeah, that's where I think it's going to be. Could be Tri-Cities, could be Roanoke, but I don't think it's Knoxville. I just don't see that being the issue. If we get a stray shower in the Smokies, so have it, so be it. 20% chance is what I see. By Friday afternoon, now we start to see things populate in the whole area. East Tennessee, I left a 40% chance, and here's why. You can see it covers much of East Tennessee in spots. Once we move into Saturday, it's closing in on game day, and there's probably closer to the start time. Starts 12:45, but it will populate like so. I have a 60% chance of rain, and that will carry into the evening as well. So Sunday is unsettled, front stalls, and so it goes. We get more rain even on Sunday. So some of us will be applauding Mother Nature's return for rain. By the way, the record high slides into place. I forgot to put my key point there. Record high 102. 1948. It's the 3 H's, and it's 20% chance with light and variable winds. 98 for Oak Ridge, 99 for Kingston, 96 in Morristown. And if you're in La Follette, if you're in Campbell County, you're in Caryville, about 95 today. I think 99 for Athens is certainly reachable. 101 in Nashville would match what they had yesterday. Very hot. 99 in Chattanooga. Tonight we're down to 70. Sticky, mostly clear with light and variable winds once again. And for Oak Ridge, look for a low around 69. 67 Newport, 67 Morristown, Talbot, White Pine for the low temperature tonight. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. I think a lot of folks are probably underestimating Friday's temperatures. I have us at 96. That would, if you're playing the home game version, would tie the record high. You mean the one day that could tie could be Friday? It could. It's still in play. In my view, Friday, it's all going to depend on when do the showers get in here. Because you know when it's raining, it's pretty hard to keep warming up. It cools down. You get some rain-cooled air. But if it's slower to get in here, if you rocket to 96 before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe, I think Friday will be a day to watch. We could have another record high. Because we tied a record high on Independence Day. Recall that. If you remember, 4th of July, we hit 97. That was a tie from 1993. So if you're playing the home game version, the fact that we could have another record high, certainly not today. Today's a little out of reach at 102. But 96, Friday, may be a different story. Labor Day, I have a 20% chance, and I do have it a little unsettled for the weekend, but Monday might be the best day. If you're going to be on the boat, on the jet ski, I think you'll probably like Monday a lot better than you like Saturday afternoon. We'll just have to wait and see. If you're on the call, I just want to say good morning to you. Janet Potts is on here. She's on here at 7:03. I've gone a little long, but want to say, she says, be safe out there today. Have a great holiday weekend. And I got a note from Wanda. She's on YouTube. She says, be glad when you tell the winter outlook. I'm glad I got your premium subscription. Get so much information from you on it. So thank you for being there, Wanda. I really appreciate your support. And all of those of you who've been on there, you've sampled it. We're going on 2 years this October. The premium service has been around now for almost 2 years. It's hard to believe where the time has gone. By the way, the Captain Accurate Weather app is free. You don't need anything other than a smartphone or an iPad for this to work for you. You want weather and traffic perfect together. Could you get anybody better than Pete Michaels for traffic? No, you cannot. Not in this market, not in this town. All of the National Weather Service alerts are attached to this app. That means they come to your phone without any effort. Twisting storm approaching alert, dangerous storm approaching alert, and storms in the area. These are 3 extras that you get from Barron, plus lightning alerts, and it's free. Also, the premium service, which is extra, does focus, I mentioned, beyond the next 7 days. So if you're curious, like Melissa Mumpower, what's it going to do in September? Best place to be is to be a premium member. We focus on 2 weeks. We focus on 30 days into the future, typically each and every day. First to see every forecast. We're the first to see every forecast, and you get more Facebook Lives, typically on a Sunday. Did not do it this past Sunday because it was my birthday. Did it on Monday. But anyway, more Facebook Lives, typically about 4 extras a month. You get fewer ads, and it's only $4.99 a month. That factors into about 16 cents a day. Best weather bargain, in my view, in East Tennessee. If you want weather information, if you love weather, you ought to sample it, check it out. And you can always cancel at any time. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.